management solutions, capturing data in terms of grade books, etc. But what's been the challenge for educational institutes is, the whole effort, time, money that is required to implement these technical solutions. And by the time that you've implemented, right, either your use case for which you implemented a technology is not widely adopted in your institution, or technology has been outdated itself. Right? That's the nature of technology overall. Now, what cloud is actually helping organizations and institutes do is to look at, number one, it as an operating cost. Right? So you don't need to invest upfront in capacity for implementing a solution. Now, in turn, what that helps institutions do is to do pilots or proof of concepts incrementally. Again, the consequence is that you test out use cases. Right? Is this technology, or is this style of learning, or is this style of delivering teaching going to help my students? If it doesn't, I don't have sunk cost, I move on to another technology and try it out. Right? No solution would ever be perfect. So I think that's the biggest impact that cloud has had. It's enabling institutions to look at applications on a standalone basis, experiment, look at a use case. If it's being adopted, scale it immediately. Right. The other thing which should also be looked at in this topic is the concept of mobile. Right? Because of cloud applications, you being able to deliver information from these applications to mobile devices is also accelerated. Right? The outcome of this is you're able to now deliver nuggets of information to your learners from these applications, right? What we are now calling as micro-learning. Now, if you look at mobile devices, when do you pick up the phone? When do you use an application? Right? When you get a call, when you get an SMS, when you get a WhatsApp message, right? So if you look at the usage of mobile phones, it's predominantly notification-based. Right? Mobile phones are notification devices. So now with these cloud applications, you're able to push information to students, thereby increasing the interaction between the teacher and the student, right? Sort of like, I've released a new test paper that you need to look at, or before coming in for the class tomorrow, the application is sending out notifications, read up on this chapter. So what that helps do is to bring in the concept of flipped classrooms, right? The learners are going to read up content before coming in class and have more quality interactions with the teacher or trainer in the classroom. Now, if you look at the consequence again of the cloud, because of the proliferation of applications, the amount of data which is getting created is enormous, right? The gentleman before me did talk about a lot of data being collected and the need for analyzing it. I think the challenge is not the capture of data. Yes, because of mobile and cloud application that has accelerated, but this has been there for a long time now. If you go through the details in terms of what a teacher needs to do to deliver training or teaching, right, there are lots of tasks involved. And predominantly there's a lot of administrative stuff, right? And then preparation for a class, followed by analysis of what a student has done, and then the cycle repeats itself. Now, what big data is already helping and will evolve over a period of time is to help create actionable insights from data. So it's not only about coming out with reports, what's been the attendance, or what kind of content has been consumed, but predict eventual outcomes that could come and predict what is the actionable outcome that needs to be done. For example, I was reading an article about how data from different classes are being collated to come out with an action. For example, this particular college had students from different countries in the class, right? And they were taking language help sessions. Obviously, their performance in the English language was not great. But then they realized they had mathematics skills, but they were not able to perform in the mathematics class because the problem statements in English were too complicated for them to understand, right? So this is the correlation of data that is happening across different classes, which again, big data is enabling to provide insights. Now, the other thing is the big data and analytics is not only for the learners, right? It is also for the teachers, right? Just like every learner has his own strengths, weaknesses, and passion for learning, right? The same applies for the teacher. Right? Based on the performance of a class, correlating it to another similar class being taught by some other teacher, looking at past performance, you can actually provide training for the teacher itself in terms of, how do you communicate, how do you take a class, or do some concepts need to be drilled down deeper, right? So again, actionable insights. And it's a combination of these two, which is actually disrupting the overall interaction between students and teachers. So that's our point of view on what's happening in the big data and cloud space. Thank you.